Brad, let's talk about CIEM, I think is how we're going to pronounce it. Cloud Infrastructure Entitlement Management. Walk me through how that's different than just identity or zero trust access control for the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, it's like dynamic access management for the cloud. So if you think of how a traditional identity access management, privilege access management, and those different spaces work, they were ultimately built for static environments. And, with the cloud, it couldn't be further from that type of operating environment. So very dynamic and rapidly increasing and decreasing and adding different machines and different elements. And ultimately, those areas were also built for humans. So you know, Brad LaPorte. I'm employee 123, and I'm in this environment, and I am who I am. But if I'm actually turning up a virtual machine, or even if I'm integrating either IoT devices, which there's over 30 billion of them around the world, how do you maintain all these different systems, and how do you even actually have, first of all, visibility into that, and actually control into that? So, there's just a lot of unique areas in terms of why this space is here. And we're actually seeing a lot of access management providers, as well as cloud security posture management providers, kind of breaking into this space. There's certainly a lot of overlap between these different areas, as organizations look to lock down their environment and basically increase their overall security that they have for the cloud.
Got it. That helps a little bit. It's still confusing, and there's still all these other areas that don't quite touch it. API access, how do you grant entitlements to use a particular API token, for instance? So it's an evolving space.
Yeah, and it's certainly not going away. I mean, Gartner just released some interesting data around the fact that next year in 2022, the actual spending and focus and priorities on APIs is expected to grow, over 37%. So that's pretty significant. So, and then in addition to that, obviously, cybersecurity is increasing as well. So that's, well over 60%. So, we're not, this isn't going away. And, I expect that this, even though it's a new entrant, this has only been identified by Gartner and other analyst firms, this year. And, it's certainly been evolving over the past couple of years as more and more organizations move to the cloud. But, this is certainly another area of rapid growth that a lot of organizations are looking to evaluate and purchase. And as you stated, it is very confusing. So I'm very curious for this section to see what the vendors, what their specific point of views are, and seeing how the space actually evolves.
Yeah, and that's going to be the best way to get an understanding of how it's a separate space and category, is to watch the vendor demos and
Yeah,
figure out what they're doing and realize, yeah, that's completely different than my Active Directory setup.
exactly.